Alright, picture this. You find the perfect piece of land. It's huge, over 500 acres nestled in a remote corner of Utah. It's the kind of place where you can raise your family, raise some cattle, and just live a quiet, peaceful life, far away from the noise of the city. For the Sherman family, this wasn't just a dream. In 1994, it became their reality. They bought a sprawling property that would soon be known to the world by a much more sinister name, Skinwalker Ranch. But before we get to all that, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place. Just do me a favor and gently press the like button until it feels a little uncomfortable. Terry and Gwen Sherman, along with their 2 kids, were excited to start their new chapter. They were practical, hard-working people, not prone to flights of fancy or believing in ghost stories. The ranch was beautiful, but they noticed right away that the previous owners had an unusual setup. There were deadbolts on the inside of every single door and window in the main house. It was almost as if they weren't trying to keep people out, but were desperately trying to keep something in. At the ends of the property, they found massive iron stakes with heavy chains attached, as if they were used to restrain something incredibly large and powerful. The Shermans, being pragmatic, just chalked it up to the eccentricities of the previous owners and got on with the business of moving in. They had no idea that their idyllic new life was about to unravel into a waking nightmare. The strangeness started almost immediately. On the very first day they were moving their furniture into the house, they spotted something in the pasture that made them stop dead in their tracks. It was a wolf, but this was no ordinary wolf. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of a normal one, with fur the color of reddish-brown mud and eyes that seemed to glow with an unsettling intelligence. It casually trotted up to their cattle pen, grabbed a calf by its snout, and started to drag it away. Terry, being a rancher, didn't hesitate. He grabbed his rifle and fired a shot. The bullet hit the creature, but it didn't even flinch. It just let go of the calf and turned to stare at Terry, a look of calm amusement on its face. Terry fired again and again. He emptied an entire clip from his high-powered rifle into this thing, bullets that could take down a bull, and the creature just stood there, completely unharmed. It eventually got bored, it seemed, and trotted away, disappearing into the brush. A shaken Terry followed its tracks, which just ended. They stopped abruptly in the middle of a muddy patch, as if the giant bulletproof wolf had simply vanished into thin air. This was just the beginning. The Shermans started losing their prize-winning cattle at an alarming rate. One day they'd have a full herd, and the next one would be missing without a trace. No signs of a struggle, no broken fences, no blood. The animal would just be gone. Other times they'd find the cattle, but what they found was far worse than them being missing. They would discover a cow lying dead in a field, but it was surgically mutilated. We're talking about precise, bloodless incisions, as if done with a laser. An eyeball would be cored out, or a section of hide removed in a perfect circle, or internal organs would be gone, all without a single drop of blood on the animal or the ground around it. Veterinarians were baffled. There was no known predator or surgical tool that could do this. It was as if something was performing bizarre experiments on their livestock. The phenomena weren't just limited to the animals. The sky above Skinwalker Ranch became a theater for the bizarre. The family would frequently see strange lights in the sky, orbs of blue, white, and orange light that would hover silently over the fields. These weren't airplanes or helicopters. They moved with impossible speed and agility, darting around, changing direction instantly, and sometimes descending to just a few feet above the ground. On one occasion, Terry saw a huge black triangular craft, completely silent, float over the ranch. It was the size of a football field and had a light on each corner. It hovered for a moment and then shot off into the night sky at a speed that defied physics. Their dogs, who are usually brave and loud, would be found cowering in their doghouse, whining in absolute terror, refusing to come out whenever these orbs or crafts appeared. The activity started to bleed into their home. They would hear disembodied voices whispering in empty rooms. Objects would fly off shelves and smash against the walls. Doors would slam open and shut on their own. Gwen Sherman reported frequently coming home to find the groceries she had just put away completely rearranged in the kitchen, or all the furniture in a room stacked in the center. But the most terrifying encounters were the shadowy figures. The family would see tall, dark humanoids lurking at the edge of the property, just watching the house. Sometimes they'd see them peering through the windows at night. One evening, Terry stepped outside and was confronted by an incredibly tall figure, cloaked in black, whose eyes glowed a menacing red. As soon as Terry's headlights hit it, the figure turned and ran with inhuman speed, so fast that Terry couldn't keep up with it in his truck. After 2 years of relentless psychological and physical torment, the Shermans couldn't take it anymore. Their dream had become a living hell. They were on the verge of financial ruin and emotional collapse. In 1996, they put the ranch up for sale, desperate to escape. Their story was eventually published in a local Utah newspaper, which caught the attention of a man named Robert Bigelow, a wealthy hotel magnate with a deep interest in the paranormal. Bigelow bought the ranch and founded the National Institute for Discovery Science, or NIDS. He assembled a team of highly credentialed scientists, physicists, engineers, veterinarians, and sent them to Skinwalker Ranch with a single mission: to use the full power of modern science to document, investigate, and hopefully explain the inexplicable phenomena that had driven the Sherman family away. The scientists arrived armed with high-tech surveillance equipment, from cameras and radiation detectors to spectrum analyzers. They were ready for anything, or so they thought. The ranch, it seemed, was just getting warmed up. The NID's team would soon discover that whatever entity or force resided on that patch of land didn't just defy explanation, it seemed to actively play with, and even mock, the very scientists who were trying to study it. The mystery of Skinwalker Ranch was far from over. In fact, a brand new, even stranger chapter was about to begin. That is going to do it for today. Part 2 is on our channel. Be sure to check out our channel right here. We're going to be dropping stories every week, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a thing. I really appreciate you guys spending your time here with me today. Until next time, from Silent Secret Stories, every secret has a story.